Hey, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Learn JavaScript with Foundry VTT. And so I was thinking, and I can't think right off the top of my head anyway of any more JavaScript things that we need to learn. If any of you guys have any ideas of things maybe I missed or I'm not thinking of, then feel free to let me know, either chat with me on Discord or down in the comments section. But anyway, I was thinking maybe what we would do for the next, I don't know how many episodes, depends on how long it takes to get through it, is actually make some modules that I've actually had to make and figure out how to make, that actually is the JavaScript, but it also uses some of the built-in functionality of Foundry. And I think ultimately that's kind of the goal. However, this is learn JavaScript with Foundry VTT and not learn Foundry VTT scripting or its internal functions and stuff like that. So I did want to still kind of give an idea of how you can accomplish things. Because right now we can just send stuff to the console and that's pretty much it. So in this episode, what I was thinking, we're gonna do a little module that will just get lots of different information. And the goals of this would be so that you can actually kind of understand. We've gone over once about the structure of Foundry VTT and such, but this might give you kind of ideas of what information you can get and how you can get that information, and then throughout the other modules that we're going to do, or not modules, macros, sorry, I keep saying modules, we're doing macros. You can write macros that utilize those and take advantage of different things in Foundry. So this first one is one of the very first things I ever kind of wrote macro-wise, and it was just to kind of help me understand the information associated with the different points of Foundry, such as the canvas, the combat tracker, and things like that. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead, and you can see we're in build 291 version 10, still using the 5th edition system, but that is completely optional. The structure and stuff of a character and stuff would be different in other ones, but not extremely different. It's more that once you get into, say, your tokens info, it's the structure inside there. So the actual token would still be in the same place because that's more core Foundry, but the structure of the data that's within the token might be different. And then this would actually allow you to see those changes and what you need to do. So let's jump right in and do that. So we're going to go ahead, open up our template so we can get our basics, Control C there, and then we're going to go into fundamentals here, and we're going to go ahead and under 09 we're going to create a 10. So let's go ahead and just create a thing in there, and we'll do 10 dash, and we'll just say, I don't want all these to be in one. I'm gonna say get data. Maybe do it this way. Get data, which is going to be kind of along the lines of applying what we've learned so far. So this will still rely heavily upon having the console, but as we go, we'll actually start using also the like rolling dice and having it output here and stuff. So just wanted to let you guys know that, and I probably need to close that for a second while I go back where we were and then bring it back up. All right, so first thing we're going to do is go ahead and do our little template, Control V right there, and give us some space right here. So the first thing I think is very important to do is to get token info, and I want to make sure I have these guys where we can actually select one or more of them. So let's go ahead and we'll just call this get C-O-N, oh, that's not a C, C-O-N-T-R-O-L, controlled, T-O-K, token, I-N-F-O-R-M-A-T-I-O-N. All right, so we want to get controlled token information. Now, if we come over here and clear this out, if you remember, we talked a little bit about this when we were doing our last applying what we learned, just kind of doing recon and stuff, and that's where we're going to get our information here. So inside the canvas, you can see, I need to hit enter, you can see we have all the different things, and one of these things that we have in here is actually the tokens. Now this will be your tokens that are selected. If we go, I believe there's one called controlled, and right now you can see it's an array of 0, which is saying we don't have any tokens selected. If we do have a token selected and we do that same thing, have to refresh it and then go down to controlled, control, wait, where was it? I think I went in one other. Oh, tokens, yes, I need to go to tokens first. So if we go in here now to tokens and we go down to controlled, you actually see we have an array of 1. Well, that's really good if we have a single token selected, because that's most of the time that's going to be what you want. But let's say we had more tokens selected. Whoa, that was not what I wanted to do, because I want to keep them all. So if we go do that with multiple tokens and we hit go here, hit up, hit enter, and then go to tokens, tokens right there, and then go down to controlled. Now you'll see we actually have 3, and it's not guaranteeing that the one I might think is 0 is the 0 I want. So if I want to get information on multiple tokens, then I probably want to actually save all this information under a, I think I do that too. Yes, I want to basically save this information as a variable that I can actually look into and such. So what we want to do first of all is, one, we're going to see if there's even a token selected, because if there's not a token selected, there's really no point in even doing this at all, because you're not going to get any info. So the first thing we want to do is set up an if statement, and as you saw, we were looking at actually, I think if I do, is it here? That's not showing it. I know if I do copy property path, I believe, and then I paste that in here, you'll see it's tokens controlled and it's inside canvas, right? But that's kind of not what I wanted to do. So we're going to check using that same type of thing. We're going to say if, and we're going to say cnvs, so canvas.tokens, we're going to do tokens and controlled, controlled. And if you remember, we talked all these objects have one thing that is always in there. If excuse me. So if we go under the controlled, and right now we don't have, oh, we actually have multiple controlled. Where was that? We have our 3. We have this value of length. So this is going to allow us to say, oh, there's only one token selected, or there's multiple tokens selected, or if it's 0, obviously it's going to be 0. So we can use this to check if a token is selected. Now, if they're trying to get the information and they have the wrong token selected, that's pretty much impossible for us to check for. So length, so we're going to do length, and we're going to verify that it is equal to 1, right? So it needs to be 1. At least right now it needs to be 1. If it's not, then we know that there is no token selected. So we're going to throw an error, and this is going to be our first. I don't think we've done this before, but you know how you get the little red bar, the blue bar, and the yellow bar up here? This is what we're going to actually have an output at the top. we're going to have it just tell us that, hey, you need to select, there are no tokens selected. So if we go, it's under UI, and then we're going to go to notifications, notifications, and then there are 3 here. There's red, which is error, info, which is blue, and I think warn, which is yellow, if I'm remembering correctly. We're just going to do it. Let's just do it. Well, there's no token selected. That sounds like an error. So we'll go ahead and do error. And then in here, we're going to go ahead and output what's going to be on that bar. We're going to say no tokenrslected. And we'll verify that that works right. See if I'm remembering everything that I think I'm remembering. So right now, if a token is selected, then we're going to get that. Now, also, if multiple tokens, because we're only checking if one is selected, that's our ideal thing is, you know, we want to get the information on a single token, and we want to be able to, you know, save that information. If we have multiple tokens selected, we have no choice other than to save the information from this point right here, where if you want to go in, you have to do 0, 1, 2. You would have to do some checking, know maybe what ID is for the token you want and all that stuff. So we'll have that available to us, but ultimately what we want is hopefully only one token, and then an error if there are no tokens. However, as I was saying, right now when we do this, if we run this and we have multiple tokens selected, because it's not one token selected, we'll still throw this error saying no tokens are selected. So just know that that's what we're going to see right now. So if I hit save, there you go. No tokens selected, even though we have 3. If we uncheck them all and run it again, now it's actually giving us right. So if we wanted to verify that there were more than one token, we could do an else if down here and do that one, ELSE, else if. I forgot. In JavaScript, it's a little thing like that. Okay, so now we have our else if statement, and we can put in our thing here saying else if, and then do this, do C and a V there. And what we can do here is check if greater than 1 is selected, and we simply say greater than, actually we could say greater than equal to 1 because we're already resolving our 1 right here, but technically we just would want if it's greater than 1. And I feel like oh, that's the parenthesis. It's kind of hard to tell. Let's do this. All right, there we go. All right, so now we actually have our 3 states. We have only one selected, which is ideal. That's what we want. We have if 2 or more are selected, we have a resolution for that. And just to kind of, let's just do this and make sure that I'm giving you the right information there. Let's say Control V there and Control V there. We'll go ahead and tab this in. And we'll try doing, this is the blue one, which is just info, I believe. And I think, if I'm right, this one's warn. And with this one, we'll just say great job. Great job. Whoop. Job. And with this one, let's just say more than 1 is SELECTED. We'll see if that works for us. All right, so let's go ahead and run. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. So if we run this, although, hold on. Oh, we need to get rid of this. I thought that looked weird. There we go. So run that. So no tokens are selected. Let's go ahead and grab a bunch, see what we get. We did. We got our yellow bar, which is the warning. And that's going to bug me, even though we're going to get rid of that in just a minute. And then, of course, if we have just our single token selected, Great job. So there we go. That's really quickly how we can just see if we have more than one selected. Now we're going to do kind of the same thing to see if we actually have. Do I have that on my notes? Yes. In a bit, we'll actually do that also with our target to see if we have a target selected or multiple targets selected or no targets selected. So we'll kind of replicate the same thing. So now that we have this we can get rid of, and this we can get rid of because we know it's working the way we want it to. So let's go ahead, and now that we know we have a single token selected, we can actually have a variable here. We'll just call it my token. And we can assign it to the 0 value of this array, knowing that because it's only one, our array is 1 in length, only has one record or whatever you want to call it, we know that is our desired token. So we can basically blindly say that yes, 0 is our token because that's the only one available. So we're going to do canvas. So we're going to say canvas dot tokens dot controlled, and we're going to do 0, right? So that is going to set that to our token. Now, because this is using all our using mainly our console, we're going to go ahead and then output that token to the console so we can actually explore it and see what it has to offer us. So we're going to do console.log, and we're going to do I'm just going to do token colon space comma and set this to my token like so. And now is that, trying to think if that's the only, well, for now that's what we want. We just want that. So let's go ahead and we will run that. We have a single token selected, and let's go ahead and hit execute, and now you can see we have our token, and this is the token's info. So if we go look, we can see that sure enough, if we go down to, I believe, name, where be ye, we see that we actually have Acra selected, which is the token we want. Now I think previously we also talked about getting the role data for a token. Now this is something you have to know what the token is, because you need to be able to get role data for that token. So now that we have we know that our token is selected, we can also get that role data for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do let my data, for example, and say equals token. So it's a different area of the I want to say file structure, but it's really not really a file structure, but of the Foundry internal structure maybe. So we're going to do token and then tor. So this is a special area that for the token that's selected, it will get the rollable data. So these are things that you can actually roll dice against, or for, whatever you want to say. And what you do is you do token actor, and then there's a special function called get, or special method, whichever, roll data like that, and you just do it in parentheses like so. And then once again, we'll want to get the tokens roll data. So I'm a slow typer, so I'll just go here and we're going to paste it here, and we'll just call this token ROLABL, rollable data, right? And then of course this will be my data. DATA, I thought I hit too many keys there. And that should give us our information. So if we do that, go all the way down, now you see we have our token, and then we have our token's rollable data, which is our abilities, attributes, bonuses, classes, You know, it has the cleric information, hit dice, all that fun stuff is in here. We have currency, details, proficiency, resources, skill, skills, spells, and traits. So if we have spells, you can see here's our different spells. So you can see these are, I believe these are cantrip spells. If we have any listed in there, then you have first level all the way up to 9th level. I don't know if this one actually has any data in it, but you have all that information where you either use to roll against it, or you use to get information to roll against something else, you know, that kind of stuff. So this is the roll data. So now we actually have a way of seeing our tokens information and also our rollable data. Now it is good to note that the rollable data actually is in the token. It's just not the function get rollable data just kind of puts it in a nice location for you to actually see it. You know, I think it's this one right here, get data. Color arguments. No, it's not this one. Anyway, but that's besides the point. So there's one last thing I kind of wanted to touch on real quick. So if we go look at our token, for example, because this is actually an important thing, or an interesting thing at least. If we go under actor here, or wait, is this the my token? Let's go ahead and clear this and run it one more time. So we want my token. If we go under, is it, sometimes it's hard to, oh, actually I know why. So we're in the my token. If we want, it's not under actor there, it's under data, I believe. And then is this where effects? So if you have effects on your thing, you can always check you know, what effects are on your token. I don't think any of these, let's go and save that real quick. Do any of these guys have an effect on them? He has druidic, it's a passive effect. Maybe we can find that one. So let's go ahead and clear this. We now have him selected. Let's run our get data again. Execute tokens. I said it was under data. And then under here we had effects, I believe. There it is right there. That must not be the passive effects. I don't know where the passive effects are, but if you actually have effects on them, they can show up here, so you can check duration and what type of things it has. So I just want to kind of point that out as a good bit of information just to know where something is. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and increase, oops, I didn't want to actually close that. Let's go ahead and give us our piece right here. It's basically going to be the same thing as this right here. However, we're going to just assign all controlled tokens to a value. So we'll do, hold on, do Control C and Control V, and we'll just call this my tokens. Why not? And instead of having a specific one, we want to actually assign the entire array to that value. And then in here, we just simply say my tokens. And in here, we could say, I guess just tokens. Seems pretty good. And now if we have, where's our guys? Down here. If we select multiple guys now and hit, let's clear it and hit execute macro, you'll see now we actually are getting our tokens, and it just starts at that stage. What we can do if we actually know, like if we go into an actor here, we can see here what its actual ID is, And we could go and find that ID within, go through each of these and say, oh, is this one equal that actor? Or you might also, do it specifically by name. If we came down here, there's Krusk, right? Although here it says, oh, well, this is Krusk. And this one is Zoth or whatever, which is the one we actually want. But we don't know where that one is. So you'd have to kind of search through it and figure that out. Like search through your existing thing. Where this would come in handy, selecting multiple tokens, I can't really think. Well, actually, no, that would still be targets. So I don't know when specifically you programmatically would want to look at multiple tokens that are selected. Usually it's just going to be a single token, but it could come up. Now, targets, definitely. You could have a spell magic missile hitting 3 different targets, or an AoE type of spell like fireball that is affecting multiple targets. And in that case, yes, you would want to have multiple targets selected. So I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Sorry about that. So we're at about 26 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and end this here. I think I kind of covered what I wanted to. The other things I want to kind of look at in our little function that's getting data, or our little macro that's getting data, I want to look at combat info to show you where the combat tracker info is. I want to look at the game actors, which is different than your tokens. The game actors is what they are linked to, if it's a PC, or the not linked where you can drag multiple. We'll talk about that. Items, where items might be for individuals. And then, of course, targets. I think we'll probably do the targets in the next episode, so that you will at least have this. Because one thing you're always going to want to check in your macro is at least one token is selected. If you're doing a macro that actually does an attack or something, you want to, 1, make sure that a token is selected, and 2, that a target is selected. So I think that's going to probably be one of our biggest things that we're going to, find the most useful up front. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me. Click the little notification bell. I always forget that. Click that little notification bell. It will help me so much with the YouTube algorithms and all that fun stuff, and maybe make my channel a little more visible than it already is, which it really isn't. But anyway, tell other people about my channel. Have them check it out. If they like what they see, they can sub. We grow the channel, and we just have fun that way. And that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.